Welcome to a brand new episode of the post game. I'm your host, Davion, and I'm joined by Oronde,
What up?
my buddy Matt.
Was good.
How are we doing today, y'all?
I'm chilling.
I'm tired. It's my first day back at school, so that's good.
Me too. I'm my first day.
FDOC.
My first day back is today, and I'm exhausted. Like I'm so tired. Like after we finish recording this, I'm gonna put it up and I'm going to go to sleep. I am
My
looking
my
forward
first
to it.
day of harassing all my school people.
Oh no, but we are back for a brand new episode of the post game. Today we're talking about the wild card. NFL playoffs starts this week, and I'm very much so looking forward to about month and a half, about month actually, the next month. I'm looking forward to watching some really good playoff games, and I know none of these games will fail us. Well, we'll see. But yeah, but first off, man, on a scale of 1 to 10, how pleasantly how happy were you with the NFL season?
Not
So. Probably like a strong 6.
you
I
know what?
think
I'll give it an 8 if we don't talk about my team.
Yeah,
maybe maybe
we're not
7.
counting our teams. We're not counting our teams.
Oh, okay.
Not
Then
counting our teams, an
Yeah,
8.
yeah, probably an 8.
I'll go 8 as well. Counting our teams, I think we're all in the six range.
Yeah.
Um, but no, yeah, man, it's been a good season. It's over. It's crazy that we've been doing these episodes for a year now, about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Wow, 2 years in May. But we have literally been covering football for years now on this channel, and so I've enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it. But first up, in the wild card, we're going to start in the AFC. Jacksonville Jaguars plays the LA Chargers. Who do we got and why?
Chargers are only favored 1.5 points based on my bias towards the Jags. I'm gonna go Jaguars.
Okay. Uh, my bias, because of Herbert, I'm sticking with the Chargers through and through. I'm definitely gonna be rooting for him throughout the whole playoffs, and um, low key, I do think they could make a decent run, depending on who they play next. Probably the Chiefs, but we'll see about that.
So I think it's crazy. I have bias on both teams. On one side, I hated Trevor Lawrence last season, and on the other side, I love Justin Herbert a lot. But honestly, who I think is a more complete team and who's been more what's the word? Who's played the best throughout the season? I would say Jacksonville has. I feel like they have a stretch where like they have been playing, pretty good football. They beat Dallas. They beat some. I mean, they had a must-win game against Tennessee last week. So I think they are they're hot right now, like very hot. Granted, I do love the Chargers. I love Justin Herbert. I love what like that team potentially can be. Um, and this is a very hard one for me. If Trevor Lawrence comes out throwing 250 for 3 touchdowns, they win the game. If Justin Herbert does the same thing, they win the game.
You
Whichever quarterback plays better will win this game, in my opinion. And the others
know
will
it's funny?
will just follow.
I think it's funny that if we give because of the more complete team that they are, if we give Trevor that stat line, they can win a game. But if you give Mac Jones that stat line, which he just did against Buffalo, 250 for 3 tutties, you lose.
Yeah.
It speaks to how much more
They
team
need.
defense plays and the capability of winning the game,
Yeah,
in which the Chargers don't have much team defense to offer.
I agree.
Yep.
See, and so I still haven't picked my player yet. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers. And that's only because of bias. 100%, only because of bias. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals against the Baltimore Ravens. Number 3 versus the number 6. Who do y'all have?
Um, it
Bengals
kind
are
of
favored a
depends.
touchdown.
It kind of depends on if Lamar's playing or not. That's going to be the question. Is he going to play? They said he probably will. I don't know, though, because he's been out for, a month and a half.
Not a minute.
If he doesn't play, it's a lock for the Bengals, no question. If he does play,
I think it's still a lock.
it's still a lock, I still think. The Ravens defense is better than the Bengals, but I think the Bengals offense is just one of the best in the league, so it's just going to be hard to stop those guys. So I think Bengals, I'll do Bengals by 7. I'll give them the edge.
Oh, they'll cover the spread. Interesting.
I'll go
Um,
Bengals by.
give
I'll
it
go Bengals by 10.
give it to
Okay.
Bengals. Ravens stink. They should not be 10 wins. They should not have 10 wins at all. I think that's just dumb luck, in my opinion. And also, going back to that canceled Bengals Bills game, they drove down a field in 2 or 3 minutes
Yeah.
and scored on that really good Buffalo defense on the first possession.
Yep.
They've got the hot hand. They've got my main man Joe Mixon, who is real upset about the coin toss scenario. They got a bit of a chip on their shoulder because they got to prove something because they were not able to have the number 1 seed. Give me the
Yep.
Bengals. Bengals by 20.
Is it me or does Lamar coming, if he does play, if he does come back, he's been away from football for so long where it's not going to be easy for him to click back into the offense.
Yeah.
And also, like, the Bengals, like you said, Oronde, they are hot. Like, they are playing good football when it needs to be played, and that's leading up to the playoffs and now walking into the playoffs. And so I think it'll be bad. I think that it'll be bad. I really do, man. Cincinnati are such a good team. Joe Burrow is such a good quarterback, definitely top 5 in the league right now. And so, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. That's exactly where I'm at. Is the Bengals are gonna unanimously win this game.
Okay.
And honestly, if Baltimore wins, it'll put shock factor on a lot of things. We can't. We gotta remember this is also a playoff. I mean, a division rival. And it can be hard like that. So this could be fun. This could be a fun one as well. But moving on, Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins don't have a quarterback. They are
and
limping into the playoffs with their 4th-string quarterback. I think he is.
and it looked like Tua today. I don't think they're having a practice just yet, is what Mike McDaniel said. So that's definitely not good for Miami. And Miami barely made it in, so that's also very concerning. I mean, they lost 5 straight, and then they beat a depleted Jets team by 5. So it's not looking good for them at all. And the Bills, from what they've gone through these last couple of weeks, they're definitely going to be on a tear. So I think this might be at least 14.
Bills are favored. Bills are favored 10.5. Give me Bills cover and win.
I think they cover. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, they definitely.
They're playing with the chip on their shoulder. Division rival. Fins stink without Tua.
They're just so depleted.
As unfortunate as it is.
Still can't believe they got in. Like, honestly, when I saw they got in, when I saw they got in, I was like, why would you even want to be in? You're over here limping in with your 4th-string quarterback.
I mean, they kind of had to from all the moves they made in the offseason.
Well,
they needed to be a playoff team. But, of course, it sucks with Tua getting hurt, getting 3 concussions.
Yeah.
You never want that to happen, but
oh yeah, of course not. And I feel that he should be sat down for the rest of the season.
I agree, but it's his decision, I guess. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, give me the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if we've said it out loud. Y'all got Buffalo as well?
Of course.
Of course.
Oh, well,
unfortunately.
Excuse me. All right, next up, Tampa Bay versus the Dallas Cowboys on the NFC. This is fun. This right here is this is what Dallas didn't want.
Exactly. Here's the thing. So Dallas had an ugly loss. Obviously, it's the last game of the season. Doesn't really matter. They're in no matter what. They have looked so-so these past couple weeks, and you're going against the best QB in the league. Well, not right now, but just overall in Brady. And with him in the playoffs, it's a different story, and I highly think the Bucks can easily win this game.
Easily.
Easily, because I just think like Tom, like you can't count out Brady no matter what. Like
Especially in the
I
playoffs.
had this funny scenario if it happened, like if they end up playing Dallas or like even Seattle, they're gonna steamroll them because they're so good in the playoffs, and it's just such a different atmosphere. And like teams like that don't have. I mean, they do have somewhat experience, but just not enough. So Bucks, what's their line right now? Is it like 3.5, 4.5?
Cowboys favored 3 points. Give
I'll say Bucks by 3. I think that's what
got
it's
you.
gonna be.
And backing off of what Matt said, like one, this is my man Tom. The last time I bet against him, he won a ring. So I have to avoid betting against him now. On top of the fact that Dak stinks right now, I
Mhm.
couldn't tell you why because Washington football team just dismantled him. Um, but it's also a home Buccaneers game, and for who knows why, but Mike Evans is averaging 120 at home this season.
I mean, was
Yeah.
So
this his ninth 1,000-yard season? Was that
ninth
this was
straight 1,000 yard
ninth
season.
straight? That's ridiculous. So, and then you add Godwin and maybe a Julio and Fournette, and I like that better than
Hopefully they're I mean, and hopefully their
Dallas
defense
offense right now.
hopefully their defense comes to work and plays this.
Exactly. That game's gonna come down to the defenses, period, because those
Yep.
are. I mean, Dallas obviously has been one of the better defenses this year, but they've been so down the stretch, like they've always been, which
They're
is
very inconsistent.
To
they are.
to pick
And it's
to
like I noticed that towards the end of the season too. It's always they're good, but they just like they give up like 30 points to like
Exactly.
Gardner Minshew or
They
something like
get
to
that.
back
lazy.
off what I said earlier, um, Evans at home, just at home this season, 47 catches for 750 yards and 5 tutties.
Jesus.
He's
Ridiculous.
averaging he's averaging 16 yards a catch at home. He is going to torch that secondary.
For them. That sucks. I mean, listen, so what's stressful about this for me for when you're looking at both these teams, it's like Tom Brady, does he still have left in the tank? Is that defense gonna hold up? Um, you know, can they make it down the stretch and show, that true Tom Brady fashion, And on the other hand, Dallas, one of the top defenses in the league, very inconsistent, very shaky, very rocky offense, very consistent. Is Tony Pollard healthy? Is Zeke still have some left in the tank to finish it out and close it out?
I think Zeke would be their leading carrier.
I think he will too,
Yeah.
because I think Pollard's still a little banged up a little bit. But I listen, like these are all the questions you go through, and it's like, which defense is going to show up and not be inconsistent on that day? And I think that's who, like, we talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chargers game. Offenses, the quarterbacks had a big hand in it, but I feel like for this Tampa Bay Dallas game, defense is going to figure out who's going to win this game.
And
And
also, just to compare it even more, because you're all going to see how bad it is on the road for Dak Prescott this season. Passer rating of 87.9 with 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions in 5 games on the road because he missed part of the season.
Yeah.
Versus Brady at home, which is just ridiculous. 97.7 passer rating with 5 yards under 2,900 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in 9 games at home this season.
Mm.
It's not even a comparison.
Oh, Thomas. Oh, Thomas. That's all you can say. It's like there's nothing that we can
Did it
do.
again. I mean, we just have to see. But like, if I would not be surprised if he pulls it. Like, if the Bucks somehow make a decent run at this, so
It'll make me
I got
very
more
angry.
faith in the Bucks. Give me the Bucks by a touchdown.
I'll stick with by 3. I think it'll be close, but Bucks by 3.
Because it stresses me out because I have to make the same pick for another video in a couple hours. I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense shows up.
Okay.
Believe it or
Cowboys
not.
fans are gonna be so insufferable.
How much? How much did they win by?
Oh, not much. It's down to the wire. Maybe three.
Three.
That might be a touchdown if they get lucky. But it's not gonna be much. I definitely think it's gonna go down to the end of the game. Yeah, no. It's not gonna be anything wild like that. That's stressful saying betting against Tom Brady, you know. But moving on. Memphis. The Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Giants. So this is fun right here. This is gonna be the wild card game.
Okay, so let's look.
I got
Vikings are favored 3 points.
Okay.
I want to go first here because
Ooh.
I'm conflicted.
I am too.
Davion knows I've been riding the Vikings train all season because they have carried me to a fantasy championship in one of my leagues.
Good for you.
And 13-1. But there's also this lingering issue that Daniel Jones is not turning the ball over as much. He's had a year-over-year just decrease in turnover-worthy plays and turnovers in general. On top of the fact that he had a 40 fantasy point performance against the Colts defense, which is as suspect as the Vikings. I'm terrified of that. They've been more explosive lately, and I just feel like the Vikings. It's not even that the Vikings would go down early and like rally back. I just think that I'd take the underdog here and go with the Giants to beat the Vikings.
Okay. By how much though?
2 points.
2? Okay.
I think it'll be close.
Yeah. So for me, so back to Oronde's point, Vikings, I had them winning the division like at the beginning of the year. I always thought they were going to be a solid team. Again, that defense just scares me a lot, like a lot, because they are 31st currently ranked for total defensive yards. They've given up insane amount of numbers to teams. Their offense is great, top 10 in the league. Kirk Cousins, he just needs to step up. It's going to be close. Giants have a somewhat better defense. Offense, not so much, but it's close. It's very close. So I think this is going to be a Saquon game, meaning I feel like Saquon is going to have to go on a tear in order for the Vikings or for the Giants to win this. So I'll go with the underdog too. I'll go with the Giants by 3. But I don't know, man. And earlier this year, the Vikings did lose to them at home. But oh wait, no, they won, right? On a walk-off. Excuse me. But I still think the Giants upset them for this one. So
the questions that run through my head: Giants, Minnesota. Giants defense has been playing better towards the end of this, like really good towards the end of the season. Minnesota's defense has not been playing really good towards the end of the season. Minnesota's offense has looked pretty limited as well, but we know the firepower that offense can bring.
Mhm.
Does the Giants, can they go to a shootout with Minnesota? I think the Giants defense can hold them off long enough to like not have to go through that shootout. But like if it gets to that, can they fire back? That's the big question mark I have for the Giants. Minnesota.
I think the Giants can.
I think they can.
Hurt, huh?
I think they could easily go toe-to-toe with this team. I mean, they did last time they played. I mean,
You're
it was
right.
pretty close throughout the whole game.
So in my mind, I'm going to pick the New York Giants because I feel like, and like we've said for all these other teams that have been hot towards the end of the season, there's a time that you need to win football games. And that's towards the end of the season. There's a time you need to look like at your best playing football. And that's towards the end of the season. And so right now, I think this team is at its best and at its peak, while Minnesota's kind of on the decline. And so that's why I'm picking the Giants to win this game. And finally, closing off. Oh, if we didn't mention this, Chiefs and the Eagles have a first round bye. That's why they're not being talked about. But the last game, San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. What are we thinking?
I mean, again, it's division rival.
Yeah.
But I still don't think this will be close at all. I still think the Niners are very, very dominant. And even with Brock Purdy, they don't need to use him because they are so run heavy. And McCaffrey's been great for them. Seattle, their defense is just so rocky. They still don't have that good of a run defense. Their front seven's kind of suspect sometimes. Offensive wise, Geno's been great. That was a great season he's had. This is probably the best he's had ever. So props to him.
He's thrown more yards there than Russell Wilson,
which was surprising. I never thought that was going to happen.
Me either.
Against the Niners defense, though, that's in my opinion top 3. I don't see this game being close. I think Niners win by 10 at least. So yeah.
So I'm gonna jump right in the same car with you. I think Seattle has had that fairy tale story, that that there's always one every season of the playoffs. Excuse me. And I also think that Seattle and the NFC in general isn't good towards the bottom. Like, it's very top heavy, but then it drowns out when it comes to records. And so I mean, look at Tampa Bay, look at the Giants, and look at Seattle themselves. But I think some of these teams, or these two teams, like Seattle's offense, yes, they have fired at a high clip this season, and they have looked like the Lions on offense. Very high scoring games, and shootouts. But I don't think you want to get into one with a strong defense like San Francisco has. There's a reason they're the number 2 team in the NFC, in the NFC, and there's a reason why they
won 10 straight.
Yeah, exactly. And that's with whoever at quarterback. I think Brock Purdy doesn't have to stress about the San Francisco defense at all. And I think it'll be
also something to note. Niners are favored 10 points, and I'm just going to go Niners. There's nothing for me to discuss here.
Yeah, it's a walk.
Fred Warner is terrifying. That's all.
I agree. I think it'll be a walk in the park for San Francisco. And before they lose, and that would be funny. Realistically, it would make me laugh, but I don't think it'll happen. I think it'll be an easy one before it's over. And so yeah, man. But yeah, any final thoughts y'all have on the playoffs or on this wild card round?
It's definitely going to be exciting. These are some matchups I've never really seen before in a while.
A lot of division games too.
A lot of good division games. Jaguars and Chargers is the one I'm most excited for this weekend. I feel like that's going to be a fun shootout. So
I think Cowboys and Tampa Bay is
that's probably the second for me.
That looks scary. That looks like a mess waiting to happen.
Yep.
And I'm here for it. I got nothing else to worry about. I am here for all the drama containing the NFC South and Tom Brady, because never know. He's a lot of talks about where he's gonna go at the end of the season, and we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, no. Oronde, any final thoughts you have? Cool. Well, we appreciate you for
49ers my favorite.
Huh?
That's it. Said 49ers are my favorite to have the best game out of these wild card matchups.
Yeah.
And I want the Bucks
top 30.
I want the Bucks to win. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. All right. Pop it out. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all for watching. Matt, Oronde, thanks y'all for joining as well. And I've been your host, Davion, and this has been the post game. Peace.